is start taking it easy. Start not stressing all this. The soul fragmentation is devastating to an individual until they understand what's going on. See, now this is the key here. A lot of people don't know this is happening to them. They don't have the thing. And just before we ended and went to the break there, we were talking about the spirits and entities that can attach themselves to you. Now, this is another thing that can help that happen. You know, it's very important to realize that, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of bad spirits out there going on, you know, coming out, and they're trying to create a lot of chaos and things in this world right now because there is a battle. And you can feel it inside your own hearts and inside your own minds, what's really happening today. These spirits get attached to you. You can be oppressed, shall we say. And if you let them, you can be possessed. But there can be so much negativity, and I find this with a lot of light workers, that they'll get attacks of these spirits and everything, and chaos will reign in their life for a period of time until they rebalance themselves. And then once they realize what's going on, then those spirits and entities don't have that power over you because you've recharged, you've created your protective barrier around you, and you walk on.
Let me ask you this. You know, the teachings of, like, Plato and Socrates and stuff, they say that you cannot be, if you are pure of spirit and mind, that you cannot be attacked by these malignant beings.
No,
how true is that?
I get attacked how I am. You know, I keep myself online every day, meaning, you know, what I mean by online is I keep myself focused in my thoughts and my actions, you know, and helping people, always looking forward to positive things. I don't let the stuff with the government bother me. I make people aware of it. Health care within ourselves. Why take a pill when it's going to throw you more side effects than do good for you? You know, things of this nature. Yes, we can be attacked. Good people can be attacked by some very negative entities. I'll give you a good example of this in Alabama. When I was first learning, and I was in Fort Rucker, Alabama, and we were learning about aircraft and flight training and stuff like this also. Cross-training, you do a lot of different trainings. I went to this house just off the base and everything, and I felt funny going in, you know. And I'd been working, understanding from some of the black families out in those areas about their, you know, voodoo, things of this, what they did. Part of my job was to understand as much as I could of all arts. And I went into this house, and there was a guy behind me, and he was spiritual too. And I was in the kitchen. I said, we need to leave. And there was a small pantry-way, and then on the other side of that pantry-way was a lighted hallway leading into the living room. Well, this pantry-way was dark, and as we come walking up to it, something came totally out of that darkness, and it was like a forearm that was scaled with three big claws on it. It came right at me, and this guy behind me turned around and goes, what was that, as I jumped back? And I realized he'd seen it too. This little girl come walking through and turned around and right off the top told me that something was up. You know, she goes, there's something in that room. And I'm going, no doubt, I can see it, you know, so there's nothing I can do. So I turned around and told this one guy, I says, okay, what do you think it was? This old black man came from the back of the house, and he turned around and told me right off the top, he goes, hey, that house is full of negative spirits, and they knew you were coming. We could feel it before you got here. And so they asked me to bless the house. I blessed the house, and for 3 weeks after that, they kept having a lot of negative stuff happen. I kept having to go back and fight the spirit until it finally left. So, yes, they can attack a good person.
So essentially everyone is, I mean, no one is immune.
No.
Okay.
No.
What are some of the things, though, that we can do in our everyday lives that open ourselves up to those types of attacks and frequencies or energies?
Well, by turning around, and we were talking about being balanced and everything like that. By being balanced, basically, is creating a good positive energy field around you. By helping other people and understanding who you really are, then you're able to raise your consciousness. You're able to raise your energy, your spiritual energy, to a higher frequency, shall we say. And by doing that, that enables us to turn around and fight these negative forces and stuff. But by opening up and staying negative, and, you know, you got a lot of people, oh, yeah, right, you know, this type of attitude and stuff, they're opening themselves up for spiritual attacks. And when you open yourself up for a spiritual attack, then you're opening yourself up for possession or other things that can come into your household. You hear about this on shows all the time on TV now, and this is on the rise. You want to keep positive. You want to keep a good balance of good energies in your life. You want to turn around and really stay balanced with your body, eat the right foods and things. The more we deteriorate mentally, physically, spiritually, the more we allow things to come into our lives and really affect us in negative ways.
So not allow the, I guess the material, the degenerate, what's the word, of the material world.
Really?
If we can kind of, we can kind of remain, or at least not willingly open ourselves up by not allowing that in our sphere.
Well, we don't allow things in our sphere for protective reasons. And physically, we can take care of this all the time. Somebody comes up to you, you can, say, don't come any closer or whatever. Spiritually, most people aren't taught how to do that. And the way to protect yourself, as I've told people, a very simple way, this is one way, there's many, you create a bubble around yourself, a pure white energy, of good energy, and you call upon all that's good to be there with you. And also your friends, if you're having problems, can send energy to you. Because, brothers and sisters out there, you can send energy anywhere you want on this planet. Mm-hmm. It's been proven. Look at a good time when they did on Coast to Coast. Everybody concentrated on this hurricane that was coming. They didn't want it to hit this one area.
Oh, yeah, with Neil Slade.
That's right.
We had him on the show talking about it and did some cloud busting and stuff ourselves.
Exactly, and this is provable. This really works. And it happens in my lifetime all the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. When I feel something, I just increase that energy or I send it to protect somebody else, and it works. It helps. That's because it's the opposite of what we're trying to fight.
Absolutely. So focus on a bubble of protection, maybe?
Yeah, a bubble of protection around you. Burn sage. You can do that, too. Depends, on your culture also. Let's say your Aboriginal peoples of Central or South America or Africa. Tribes have their different ways that the shamans have used for thousands of years at work.
Mm-hmm. So, whatever's comfortable for you. There's more than one way, fortunately.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me ask you this on the, I guess getting to the topic of the possession or, psychic vampires, etc., these entities. I have a friend, Dr. Larry Babcock. I'm not sure if he coined the term, but it was certainly the first time I had heard of it. And he described it, he called it windows. He said it wasn't exactly a full possession, but where one becomes a vehicle to place windows that kind of open them up to these negative entities or possessions. Have you heard of this? Or?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually, because you can. And also individuals can open these windows for other people, too.
Yes. Truth be told, first time I learned about that was the first time I came across it. Mm-hmm. We kind of didn't really know what was going on, and so that was his explanation, the windows. So since we knew, we were then able to clean it, but we didn't know at the time. So is this, how typical is this?
This is very typical. And that's as far as I'm concerned. I see a lot of this all the time, and it's happening all over the world. Unfortunately, it's happened to a lot of political people, and it's helping them make wrong decisions, shall we say? Psychic vampires will latch on to you, and some of them don't even know who they are. I will say that, as I said in other shows right off the top, until they understand. I know a few of these people. I've worked with them helping. They understood what the situation was. And they learn how to not just take but give as well, So they're not all negative in this aspect, but we're having some problems now out there. I'm hearing from a lot of people, other shamans and everything. It's really getting harder because the negative influence of things is getting so intense now.
This is really cool. We got a comment on the chat saying, interesting topic. I was just going to send William a message about this very subject, which is why they happened to log in on Facebook at the time. Mm-hmm. So that's wonderful.
Synchronicity.
Absolutely. Synchronicity. Let's talk about that. What exactly does that mean? I mean, I know we all experience synchronicity. People were chatting earlier about, and I myself, seen certain things on the clock, 111 or 1111, or, license plates or where you're driving. Someone else is mentioning 12s. I think someone yesterday was mentioning 3s. And deja vu, what does this mean?
For that particular individual that is having the synchronicity of the 3s or the 1s or whatever, these are significant numbers or events that are in their life. I tell everybody, pay close attention to this. And synchronicity always happens also when, let's say you need something, and you don't tell anybody about it, but you put the energy out there. And all of a sudden events start taking place that make that happen. And so it all has a lot to do with your energy as well. What you put out, how much you put out into a particular situation really tells you how much you're going to get back in this world of synchronicity. If you're really into turning around and making something happen, and it's a very positive venture and it's going to happen. Now, this happens on the negative side, too, for those people that are into making, situations collapse around people. There's dark people just as well as there are good, and some of them are very good at what they do. So synchronicity works with them, too. We have to understand it's a two-sided fence there. But in our lives, we can use synchronicity in a very positive manner to really step up everything around us in our lives, make everything better, make a better flow. I call it flowing with the river. Once you start that flow of energy, it cascades, and pretty soon you're in a huge river, and you're flowing, and everything is happening good for you. Because you're keeping yourself balanced, you're keeping yourself aware.
So it's a good sign, then, if we're recognizing these synchronicities in our life.
Very much so.
Okay. I always thought of it as like a stepping, like you're on the right path. What about a deja vu?
Deja vu, I believe, a lot of people will disagree with me this, but I believe that we just took a glimpse of the future at one time. And then because of what we could see on the other side in the spirit world, that this veil has come over us of memory. But we don't remember everything. And then all of a sudden, let's say Jack or Jane or somebody over here says a word. And then all of a sudden we're going, oh no, they're going to say this. And we know everything they're going to do, everything they're going to say, everything. Because we glimpsed it already. We've seen it.
Yeah. I also, in my life, I think I don't know.
I look at it as, in a way, time travel.
Yeah, like I'm on the right path, or that because if I'm not experiencing synchronicities or deja vu in my life, I feel kind of nervous, like, uh-oh, maybe I'm not doing something right. And while the events themselves may seem really, just minor, just little flashes. I remember once, planting these pines, or another time just opening up a kitchen cabinet in a house. I remember when I had the vision, I never knew I would have been in those places, but, it's just like a glimpse, I think. Yes,
it is. It's a minuscule glimpse. And you just go, where did that come from?
Yeah, what do we do when we get that clip?
And when that happens, you follow through with it, let it go, and smile and go, yes, I do. Because and that just proves more about our spiritual abilities. We can do this on a daily basis. We can glimpse the future of other people. We know the futures of ourselves and where we're going if you want to pay attention to it. Because we can tap into these things. We can look into the future as we can look into the past, too. Past life regressions, things of this nature.
My goodness. So much to talk about. We have a caller on the line now. It looks like our friend Russ. How you doing tonight, Russ?
I'm doing great. You guys are sounding wonderful. And it is an awesome topic. I'm curious... How important would this statement be to you that a fountain should only flow one flavor associated with human beings?
Oh, boy. A fountain should only flow with one flavor. I don't think so.
You're saying that we can produce good fruit and evil fruit and be balanced?
I think that there are people out there that get, and we're talking about that soul fragmentation, that they have a hard time there. If you're good and you're totally good, you are going to do one flavor, have one flavor. But being a shaman and looking at what I have to deal with people in regular, everyday, single life, I see good people out there that sometimes, through their actions, create a very negative act. And they're meaning to be good. You see where I'm going here? They're meaning to be good, but because of their action, they create a negative act. And that's hard for people to deal with. Myself, I try to stay with the one flavor, you know. But at times we have to look at some of the good things that we're trying to do for other individuals. Are they the right thing to do? And if you're not balanced, you're not going to find that answer.